Hello, everybody, and welcome to college football wraparound here at week 3. And we are so glad that you have joined us. It is, of course, we are back on schedule starting here at 10 a.m. sharp on a Saturday morning in September. What a game that we are highlighting for today. Our game of the week is Miami at Texas A&M. That game is going to be so much fun, but we have a lot to talk about tonight. So we are going to start out by, first I want to show you the schedule that we've got for today. So we're going to talk about the Cooper Naylor poll, which we'll do right now, here in a few seconds. Then we're going to talk about the SEC directing Georgia and Tennessee to postpone games against Oklahoma. And then we'll talk about the Sun Belt's dominance. Texas A&M benching Haynes King for Max Johnson. Scott Frost was fired Sunday. And then we got questions about Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. Week 2 recap. And then the last 20 minutes of the show, I will be picking the games today. So that's all coming up right here on College Football Wraparound. So here is the Cooper Naylor poll. And it is largely, I would say unchanged in a way that, it's very similar to what we've already seen. So you can see on the screen who I've got ranked. Alabama is still my number one team. I'm riding with it. I still feel like even though they had a scare against Texas, Texas is a really good team. There's a reason why I had Texas at number 3 going into that game against Alabama, and then I moved them down to 10. I feel like Texas still has a chance to win this Big 12. And let's be honest, the season just started. There's a lot of football left to be played. Ohio State, looked better against Arkansas State over the weekend. So I'm sticking with them at number 2. Tennessee, they got a big win over Pitt. That was massive. That's why they will be staying in the top 4, moving up a rank at number 3. Arkansas, just really good. And the list goes on and on of what I've got so far here in these rankings. So that's my top 25. You can comment below what you believe about it. But this is my top 25, and I'm going to ride with it the whole time because I feel like it's going to be really good to see right here for you. So, our only ranked, one of the 2 ranked matchups of the day, you got Miami at Texas A&M, and then we got number 20 BYU at number 17 Oregon. That is our 2 ranked matchups of the week. So, here we go. It is time, and we'll show you this a little later, but for now, it's time to get into a little bit of discussion that the SEC has had with Georgia and Tennessee. You can see right there that the SEC has directed Georgia and Tennessee to postpone future games against Oklahoma because Oklahoma will be coming to the SEC and they will play eventually. So, what does this say? Well, in one instance, you're losing a really good series, but at the same time, they're going to play each other eventually in the SEC during the year. And I wanted to real quickly look up to show you who they've replaced. Oklahoma. So, first I'm going to look up who Oklahoma has replaced Georgia with, because this is really important in college football, because this is just another situation where, you see that a team's going to be going to this new conference, and so, it's just cancel a matchup. It's fine, that kind of thing. So that matchup, Oklahoma will. Okay, so it's for next year. They will replace Georgia with SMU. So SMU will be the replacement for Georgia, and Georgia's replacement for Oklahoma for next year is Ball State. So that is currently what is going to happen with those two teams. And then I was going to look up for you who Tennessee has replaced Oklahoma with. So, from what I see, I don't know if Tennessee's replaced Oklahoma yet. Of course, we will, of course, when we get that information, we'll get it out to you and the viewers. But this is really something that is quite obvious that was going to happen, and it has happened, and that is Oklahoma has had some games against some current SEC schools postponed and moved until they face each other in the SEC in the next few years. So, nothing shocking here. Really just some obvious stuff that we expected to happen has just happened. Now, this does take away marquee matchups you probably would have seen. Of course, if you're either Georgia or Tennessee, these would have been really good. This would have been a really good matchup. Especially, let's say this though. The last time Georgia and Oklahoma played was in the college football playoff. You know what happened? You had an overtime thriller in the Rose Bowl where Georgia wins on, I believe it's a Nick Chubb touchdown to take them to the national championship, which they would end up losing to Alabama in dramatic fashion in overtime as well. So, that was the last time Georgia and Oklahoma played. Now, the last time, and if I am right, the last time Tennessee and Oklahoma played would have been at Neyland. Neyland a few years ago. Can't remember. But, all right, September 12th, 2015. So this has been about 7 years ago. It went to double overtime, and Oklahoma came out with the win at Tennessee. And this was a Thursday night game in 2015, 7 years ago. So that was the last time that the Sooners and the Vols played each other. So, if those two examples are going to be what you can expect from when these teams face each other, trust me, this is going to get good between Oklahoma, Georgia, and Tennessee. Now, there are future games within Texas, with Texas and other SEC schools that are, I believe they're on the table of telling, or like the SEC is directing to postpone games. I am pretty confident that's probably happening. But when we get that information, we will get it out to you as soon as possible. All right, it is time to turn our attention now to, it's the Sun Belt we're turning our attention to, folks. And how about that Sun Belt? Let me tell you something, folks. You don't know how crazy it was this weekend. So, here's what happened. Appalachian State goes to They go to College Station, Texas, take down the Aggies 17-14. Appalachian State has been known to do this. And, well, it's happened again. Appalachian State crushes the hearts of the A&M faithful 17-14. And we'll get into A&M a little bit later, but this is just a good win for Appalachian State. I mean, the thing that's kind of funny about this is that they win this game, and then ESPN's pregame show, College Game Day, is now going to be going to Appalachian State. They're actually there right now for their broadcast of College Game Day. So, let me tell you something. Impressive stuff from App State, and they've been known to do this forever. So, this is not shocking whatsoever. And then the next one that was really shocking, and maybe the most incredible one of them all, in my opinion. Marshall goes to Notre Dame and knocks them off. You're looking at a team in Notre Dame that came in, at least in my opinion, top 10. I mean, you're looking at this team was supposed to win big and big and big and big. And Marshall crushed the hearts of the Irish faithful. Notre Dame isn't even ranked anymore. Not in my poll, not in the AP. They're 0-2. And we're going to get into Notre Dame a little bit later as well. And then the last one. Georgia Southern takes down Nebraska. And we'll get into Scott Frost here in a minute because there's some news about him. But is this what we're going to see? The Sun Belt is like, from my opinion, they overall could be better than the American this season in college football. That's right. You heard it. I just said it. The Sun Belt is going to be better than the American this season. Let's look at the three head coaches. You're looking at Charles Huff at Marshall. He was, before that, an Alabama assistant for Nick Saban there at Bama. That is impressive. And then, for Georgia Southern, it's Clay Helton. He was just a USC head coach, got fired early in the year last year, and he's at Georgia Southern. And at App State, Sean Clark. So, the Sun Belt showed its dominance. Those are three great head coaches. And really, don't be shocked at all if you get to about midway point of the season. And let's say, for instance, like the Nebraska job. Maybe one of those names comes up. Maybe. But this is impressive to see not one, not two, but three Sunbelt schools take down three big-time programs. You're looking at Notre Dame, the biggest brand in college football. Everybody knows who Notre Dame is in Notre Dame football. Everybody knows who Nebraska football, well, used to, of course. Now, they've been terrible for the last few years. So, I mean, people have started to forget what Nebraska was. And then you've got Texas A&M, who has made a name for themselves over the last year. This is incredible to see. This is something you do not see every day. And folks, we are on a crazy ride where the Sun Belt is ready to take down big-time schools. Don't be shocked if this happens again this week. There could be a team that has an upset. Just wait and you will see. And let me tell you, don't be shocked. These guys that are head coaches at these Sunbelt schools, they're going to get jobs somewhere, sometime. Do not be shocked, because it's going to happen sooner rather than later. All right, so now we're going to move on to Texas A&M, because I told you we were going to talk about them. Texas A&M has benched starting quarterback Haynes King, and they're putting in LSU transfer Max Johnson. Now, this is it's unfortunate for Haynes King, because you look at last year, he wins the starting quarterback battle against Zach Calzada. He's playing against Colorado, gets injured, sits out the rest of the year. Here's Zach Calzada into the game. He saves the day against Colorado. Then you get that Alabama thriller where Zach Calzada plays out of his mind and A&M beats Alabama. Then, this season, Zach Calzada's gone. Haynes King has won the starting job. You lose to Appalachian State, and he loses his job as a starting quarterback. And here is this LSU transfer, Max Johnson, who, I'll be honest, I thought he played really well for LSU, and I like him. I think he's going to be really good for Texas A&M. I mean, I'm interested to see how he does tonight against Miami. But this is really going to be one of those games where can Max Johnson put his name outright? He's the starter for A&M. That's the big question. Can he just put all the doubters to rest and just say he is the starter for the Aggies? They need it. I mean, the offense has not showed up yet for A&M this season. Of course, you could say that because, they have lost a couple of their big-time players on offense. But thing is, I still think A&M, it's early in the season. They have a lot of room to improve, and I think they're going to. Come time to play Alabama in October, I feel like this A&M team will be much better and much more ready than what a lot of people expect to play Alabama. Of course, Alabama hasn't shown to be incredible yet. Now, I still think they're the best team in college football, but they still have a long way to go. They escaped Texas, but, But getting back to Texas A&M, I feel like they've got to continue to play better football, but I feel like they got to establish that run game a little bit better. Because if you're gonna play SEC football, you got to be able to run the football effectively, and it'll be important to get good run production. I'm getting you some stats, trying to see how they did. So against Appalachian State, okay. So against Appalachian State, Texas A&M, and this is the entire game, folks. They only had 9 first downs against Appalachian State. Folks, this is brutal. 9 first downs, 186 total yards. 89 rush yards, 97 passing yards, 2 turnovers. And then you go to the Appalachian State side. 22 first downs, 315 total yards, 181 rush yards, 134 pass yards, no turnovers. And here's the kicker, folks. The kicker is right here. Appalachian State held on to the football 41 minutes and 29 seconds. Texas A&M, 18 minutes and 31 seconds. You are seeing a disparity like none other. This is an SEC school. You are getting, this is insane. You're getting outpossessed by about 23 minutes of game time. That is not a combination for winning. So, what's got to be better? They got to run the football better. They got to go and actually play some good football on the receiving end. If this is how they play against Miami, folks, you're about to see one of the worst games in the history of college football against them because, let's be honest, Miami, I don't think they're holding up. Miami's a good team. They're about to load it down on A&M at College Station. Imagine this, though. When's the last time A&M has lost 2 straight games at home? It's been a long time, but still, that is insane. All right. Now we move on to Nebraska, former Nebraska head coach and former player for Nebraska, Scott Frost. He just got fired, and it was a bad time. He just never had a chance. He just couldn't win at Nebraska. So, as a head coach at Nebraska, it wasn't good. That's what I'll say. So, his total, and this is sad. For his time at Nebraska, he was 16-31. He was 10-26 in Big Ten games. 2019 was his best season, 5-7. Where they finished in the West, the Big Ten West. Okay, 2018, tied for 5th. 2019, tied for 5th. 2020, 5th. 2021, tied for 6th. This year, it doesn't say, but I would put them dead last. So you're talking about a guy who was, everybody there loved him as a player. Everybody loved it when he was hired to take over the head coaching role. And now he's gone. He couldn't do nothing. But think about this, though. He only won 16 games at his alma mater's head coach in 5 years. That's sad. But that's just, he couldn't. Last year, you could argue they were the best 3-9 team in the history of college football. Their point differential was 0. The games they lost last year were like 10 points and under. Their biggest win was 56 points on Northwestern. Folks, this is insane. Nebraska, Scott Frost just could not win at Nebraska. And it's so sad to see, but he is gone. And the thing that would be really crazy would be if this is how things change for Nebraska. Imagine this. Just imagine. Imagine if this is the way that Nebraska becomes great again. If they fire Scott Frost, and let's say they just go out and get like a terrible head coach. Say if Tom Herman came out of the booth from CBS and he takes the Nebraska job, and there Nebraska is standing on the mountaintop of college football in the next few years. Think about how crazy that would be. Nebraska has been in a tailspin for years now. The question is, who is going to bring them out of this? Is the best question anybody can ask today. Who will lead this team to glory again? And the answers are going to be very short because there's not an answer. Because we don't know yet. But Nebraska is reeling and reeling hard. This is sad, but Scott Frost will get another opportunity. Trust me, he will. He's a young coach, and maybe Nebraska was just not his. It just wasn't his time to coach at Nebraska. Who knows? Maybe he could come back in the future and lead them to a national championship as head coach. We never know. But we do know that he's been fired after 5 years and going 16-31. So, Nebraska's on the search for a new head coach, and their interim head coach is none other than Mickey Joseph, offensive coordinator for Nebraska. Who knows? Maybe he'll get the job. He played at Nebraska as well, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens at Nebraska. All right, and now we're moving on to the next school the last school that got beat by the Sun Belt, and there are questions about Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. So, his overall record at Notre Dame as head coach is 0-3. They lost the Fiesta Bowl last season to Oklahoma State. And now, starting the season, they had an 11-point loss to Ohio State at the Shoe. And they lost at home to Marshall. The question becomes, is this concerning if you're a Notre Dame fan? My answer would have to be yes. Yes, it is. Because if you look west, not too long west, but, if you do look west, you see what you just saw with Nebraska and Scott Frost. I mean, a coach that looked really good with very little experience of being a head coach and having a hard time winning at a big-time program. Now, granted, Marcus Freeman did not go to Notre Dame. Scott Frost did go to Nebraska. Marcus Freeman played at Ohio State. But here is the thing. This really is concerning because, yes, the Ohio State game, you weren't supposed to win that. But the game against Marshall, you're supposed to crush Marshall. And this is not a good look. Now, they got a game today against Cal. Can this be the day that it changes for Marcus Freeman and gets his first win as a head coach? It'd be big. But his first head coaching job is at Notre Dame. That is a fire that you're playing with that you never wanted to play with in the beginning, because this is something that you didn't expect to have, and now you've got it. And this fire is raging on, and you're already 0-2 this season, and there's some very unhappy fans right now. Well, one thing I got to tell Notre Dame fans is this. Brian Kelly was really good for you. And I think the thing that is hurting Notre Dame in a way is because you go look at some of these schools like in the SEC and look at how much they're pouring into athletics, and, well, Notre Dame's not. Notre Dame is more academics. Now, do I believe academics are important? No. Academics are very, very, very important. But also, when you think of it from a sporting aspect, if you want the best teams, you got to go spend the money on the facilities and everything else. I mean, let's be honest. That's the reason why Brian Kelly left Notre Dame, is for better facilities at LSU, an SEC school. Now, Notre Dame is going to have a hard time. Their quarterback, Tyler Buchner, he's out for the rest of the season. I thought he looked really good against Ohio State, considering that the offense didn't play great. But here's my thing. This is going to define Marcus Freeman, and that is this whole season. How can he pick himself up after losing the first 2 games of the season? I mean, you're looking at it already, and you're already out of the college football playoff, which, if you're Notre Dame, it's playoff or bust for you. And, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. But there have been coaches who in their first year look really, really, really bad. And then you come back the next season and it's like they're the best teams, and it's like, how did that happen? Time will only tell, folks, but I think Notre Dame, if you're Notre Dame, ride the ship a little bit, and let's just see where this goes, because let me tell you, I'm not axing Marcus Freeman after 1 year. I mean, come on, that's stupid. Now 2 years? If you have 2 years where you win, let's say, 2 games total, then yeah, I'm firing Marcus Freeman after 2 years. But, this first year, just ride it out. Let's just wait and see what happens. But, things will get better. I promise you, Notre Dame fans. Things will get better for you. And Marcus Freeman will get better. Trust me. I believe it. And so will you eventually. All right. Week 2 recap. And we've kind of gone over this. But let's go over it again. Alabama gets a scare against Texas, 20-19. Texas A&M shocked by App State, 17-14. Georgia Southern goes into Nebraska and beats them. Marshall beats Notre Dame. USC beats Stanford. The week was packed, and folks, it was fun. It was a lot of fun to see. And, I think week 2 is going to go down as one of the craziest weeks in college football history. Auburn had a scare with San Jose State. I mean, this was a crazy week last week, and now this week, I think you're in store for more craziness. This is college football. I mean, anything can happen in the sport. All right. How about we do the last 25 minutes game picks? Yes. And now, we show you what we've compiled, the scores. And I mean, records. So, I'm going to highlight this on your screen. These are the games picked records. Now, Colton Naylor joined me for week 1. I went back and watched the videos. He went 6-4. The game that really changed it all was Notre Dame, Ohio State. He took Notre Dame in that game. I took Ohio State. There you can see week 1. That was the difference. I went 7-3. He went 6-4. Last week, he wasn't on the show, but I did the picks myself. I went 6-4. This is week 3, and I am about to write another chapter in these record books, and we will see where I end up. Now, Colton is on as editor right now, so I will ask him real quickly if he wants to join me for picking the games. Of course, this is a list of 10 games that we will pick in today's matchups. We've got 25 minutes just to talk over what we believe is going to happen, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So he is getting plugged up and ready to go with his microphone. And once he's in, this is going to be a lot of fun. So there are your overall records. Here I am back on the screen, back on your screen, I shall say. But overall, I am, in a sense, behind and ahead. I've won more games, but I've lost more games. So, whenever Colton is ready to come on, he's going to come on, and we are going to talk for 20 minutes straight about college football and what's going to happen in today's games. Either way, he will join me here in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and get the first game pulled up. I'm not going to pick it at all. I'm going to let him have some time. But there on your screen, there you see what game we're going to be. That's the first game right there we're picking today. And it is Cal and Notre Dame. So Colton may be having a little bit of issues right now trying to get on. So, of course, we'll give him about 2 more minutes, see if he can get on. But comment below what you thought about last week. We want to hear your thoughts, and also, a little bit later, I may put in my email in the chat, so that in case if y'all want to email me some questions about what you think about college football, and then if y'all remember Jack, he may be back for a video answering some questions about college football. So now joining us is Colton. He is muted for the moment. He can unmute here in a second. But how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty bored.
All right. So our first game we are going to pick, and I'm going to leave the records pulled up to the right of your screen. Of course, if you are watching us, me and Colton are on the left screen. I am up top, and Colton is on the bottom left. So, Cal and Notre Dame, Colton, who are you taking?
I am taking
Notre Dame. Okay.
I think they've been on a bit of a slump with all of it this year. If you want to be honest. Every team, Alabama has been as good as I feel like they can finally.
All right. I think I'll take Notre Dame. I think coming into the year, I thought they were going to be really good. Of course, now, a little bit of a struggling at the beginning of the year. but I do. I have a lot of faith that they'll they'll turn things around. I'm gonna go Notre Dame here and hope for the best. All right. So our next game is going to be UCF and FAU. Of course, this is a Florida rivalry. Colton, what is your thoughts?
I gotta go with UCF. Basketball's on. I like what I saw last week. I did watch their game this week, so I like what I saw.
Yeah, I'm going to go UCF, and I think the standout player you're going to see from this game is going to be John Rice Plumlee, the quarterback for UCF. He comes from Ole Miss. He didn't get to play very much at all last year with the new Lane Kiffin system. So be expecting John Rice Plumlee to have an incredible game. I'm expecting it. So I'm going to go UCF here. Of course, it'll be a lot of fun to see what happens, but I'm going UCF. All right, our next game is Troy and Appalachian State. Now, this one is where College Game Day is today. So, Colton, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be Appalachian State getting another win after their impressive one against A&M, or is it going to be Troy knocking the Mountaineers off?
I think it's gotta be Appalachian State. I mean, they beat Texas A&M. They're a great team, and in all honesty, I don't think Troy. Although I love Troy, they're a great team. I don't think they stand a chance.
I'm going to go Appalachian State as well. Like you said, I don't think Troy really has a chance in this game. And it's kind of sad because I think Troy has a lot of opportunity. But I just think Appalachian State's going to get the win here against Troy. And the guy to watch out for Appalachian State is going to be the quarterback, Chase Bryce. He is incredible for them, for Appalachian State. So be ready to see that because it's going to be incredible. He, of course, started his career over at Clemson, made his way to Duke, and then transferred to Appalachian State. And the rest is history because here he is at Appalachian State. And they almost knocked off North Carolina at home, too. So, I mean, this is not a team to be taken for granted for. I guess in a way. Either way. Next game, Texas Tech and NC State. This one is going to be really fun right here. So, what?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't watch either of these teams. I don't know. I don't know.
So who are you taking?
NC State.
Okay. I'm going to take Texas Tech. I like what I've seen from Texas Tech to this point in the season. They have a lot of potential. I'm going to take Texas Tech in this one. Something in me tells me Texas Tech is going to get the win. And their head coach, Joey McGuire, is really good. I like him. So I'm going to take Texas Tech and just hope for the best. All right. We are getting closer. We are on about the fifth game, I want to say, to this point. And we still have a while to talk about these games. So Michigan State at Washington. This one will be interesting. So, what's your opinion on Michigan State and Washington?
I'm gonna go on a limb, and I think you're gonna agree. Michigan State is a much better team.
All right. So he's going to go Michigan State, and I think I will. You know what? I'm going to go Washington here. I like Texas Tech. I have this gut feeling that Washington could get a win, especially with them playing at home. This is going to be something to see. I think that they have a really good chance to play really good football. So I'm going to take Washington in this game and hope for the best with them. All right. Our next game, another SEC game. This one, I believe, is at 4:00 Central Time. Mississippi State and LSU going to be down there at Death Valley. Brian Kelly's first time as a head coach against Mike Leach and Mississippi State. Who are you going to go for? LSU. You've got LSU in this game.
I've seen the air raid guy. I've seen him coach Mississippi State for 2 years now. I don't think he is as good a coach as he's fired Mike Leach.
Okay. So Colton is predicting Mike Leach to be fired.
What would he say like that?
I'm going Mississippi State here. Even though they're going to Death Valley, I don't think LSU's got enough yet. Brian Kelly, he's a good coach. I just don't see it happening.
It's just a weak start. Once they start getting going, they're going to be Brian Kelly. And I said this before. I don't know. I can't remember. Brian Kelly is like, here's the bar for Ed Orgeron, and here's Mike Kelly. Brian Kelly. So here.
Yeah.
And if Ed Orgeron can win a national championship, by the way, I think it was stolen. But if he can win a national championship, then Brian Kelly should.
Yeah, I understand that logic, but I'm going Mississippi State in this game. We
can agree to disagree.
Yeah. We've got a couple now that we've disagreed on, so we'll see what happens. Okay, our next game. And here is some storyline, and these are some rumors that may be happening. This is Penn State at Auburn. Auburn may unveil an orange jersey. Oh, and this is not it. This is not the whole entire thing. They may do an orange out where all the fans wear orange. Because you know how Penn State has the white out? Auburn may do an orange out. And there's going to be some orange writing on the field. So, Auburn, of course, is bringing this intimidation factor. Is it going to be enough, Colton, to beat Penn State at home?
I got a friend named Derek who loves Auburn, which is why I'm going with Penn State. Enough said.
Well, the reason why I'm going to be going Penn State is because I don't feel like Auburn is going to be great this season. I feel like they're going to have a step back. If they miss a bowl game, I feel like this is the year they're going to miss one because I feel like they're not good enough. And plus, go look at that SEC West. It's stacked. Penn State is going to win this game. I've got them winning by at least 28. And this game will be at 2:30 on CBS. So this is going to be a fun one to watch. So, of course, stick around for that one over there on CBS. But I don't have a lot of faith in Auburn this season at all. Penn State will get it done. So.
Well, now can I change my
All right, our next one. Oklahoma at Nebraska. Now, if you go back and look at this game last year, this was a game where it came down to an interception and it was arguably the greatest play of the 2021 college football season. So, what I want to do right now is not only get Colton's pick, I want him to tell you, as an Oklahoma fan, what it felt like that day to have that miracle with that interception. Well, I mean, the fans and the people watching the show would like to know, from the words of an Oklahoma fan, what does it feel like?
We don't win. We do. We win.
Okay, who are you taking this game? Oklahoma. Yep, he's going to Oklahoma, and so am I. Nebraska is worse this year than they were last year, and let's be honest, Nebraska is terrible. So Nebraska is about to get stomped on their own turf to Oklahoma.
It's going to be 35 to 7. I mean, that's my most accurate thing.
I'll go even further than you. I will say at the end of that game, it'll be 59-0.
Don't jinx my Sooners.
Okay. I won't. I'm just saying. All right. We are coming on 8 minutes until the end of our show today. And our next game to pick is BYU and Oregon. Colton.
I gotta go Oregon. I think Oregon is a phenomenal team. I think they play against Georgia. I think that was just half of what Oregon did. I think they're playing with true purpose this year. They lost Spencer.
Spencer Webb.
I feel like they're gonna do something, and I feel like they're gonna win this game. I don't think they're gonna be playing very bad the rest of the season. I think that first game against Georgia, I think it was just so overwhelming for them to be playing against the national championships on the first week. It's so overwhelming.
I'm going to go BYU. I like what I've seen. I mean, they beat Baylor without their top two receivers. And, I just feel like BYU pulls it out at the end. I mean, it's going to be a good game. I just have this feeling that BYU will be victorious at the end. Oregon will be unranked, and BYU will maybe crack the top 10. I mean, who knows? All right, folks. We are here to Game of the Week, Miami and Texas A&M. This one, and let me put this into perspective. Alabama lost to Texas A&M last season, but that doesn't matter for this game. Of course, I had to bring that up for some reason. I don't know why, but either way, Texas A&M comes into this game having beaten Sam Houston State 2 weeks ago, losing to Appalachian State last week, and looking for redemption with a new starting quarterback in Max Johnson. Miami comes in undefeated 2-0 with their quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke, new head coach Mario Cristobal, and Miami may be back. This is going to be one for the ages, as the great announcers would say. Maybe this is one where it could be another moment where we may have a moment where we think of the famous line from Mal Michaels, "Do you believe in miracles?" If A&M blows Miami out. But are we sure miracles may happen? Or are we sure that it's going to be the obvious winning again? With Miami maybe taking down A&M. There's only one way for people to decide who to go for. And Colton, who is your pick for Miami and Texas A&M?
Miami.
I'm going to go Miami as well. I feel like A&M, just poor play. I mean, A&M, their offense is terrible. Can Max Johnson really play better? Let's hope he can, but I'm just saying, this is a very poor A&M team. So, if they cannot get it right, then Miami's going to crush them. All right, everybody, that is our game picks. And so, what happens now is that the show is almost over. Colton will leave us now, of course. He's given us our picks. Thank you, Colton, for joining us tonight for these picks. And, of course, we will see you again later. But, folks, this is going to be fun today. College football is always a fun sport. And quite honestly, we will see what happens. The games are about to start in about 4 minutes. But we're going to leave you a little bit early so that you have time to go look for your game and for you to enjoy your day. For now, with Colton Naylor joining me for the picks, I'm Cooper Naylor, and I thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that you have a great day and enjoy your college football Saturday.